Hello. So right now we're going to start over here where we're going to begin with the revolution over here and just continue on FE equation. As you know, all multiple choice questions are awful, but that's what they do. So we're going to just continue doing it. So here we have what we call this equation over here, 2x squared. And this x squared, we kind of understand over here that when we begin over here, how do you imagine it? Um, we are going to get that shape because there's no constant over here, so no shifting up or down, and there's no side like this over here, so there's no shift in between. So we know it's going to be origin to like this. So now how we're going to integrate this is interesting. So we're going to integrate this between 0 and 3 divided by 2 somewhere, okay? And here's the interesting thing. You have to read the question carefully. It's revolving around the y-axis. So it's revolving around this axis over here, not this axis, which is the traditional way most people do it, but that would be wrong. And in this case, our r would be equal to x, right? So what that means when we do the integrand, we have 0 to 3 divided by 2. We have f of x, which would be our integrand over here, but we need something in between over here to make this work, and then it'll be dx. What is that in between is the question. So obviously we know that how to get this is when we look at equation for a circle, it's pi r squared, and circumference is the derivative of that, 2r pi. So it's actually 2 pi r over there. Now here's the interesting part over here. Because the r is x, we can just replace r equal to x, and we can just get an integrand of 0 3 divided by 2 f of x by 2 pi over here equal x dx equals the area, this is the volume, right? Volume of the whole piece. And I just realized I should probably clean this out because that's not looking good for me. V. So that's the integrand we have to integrate here, and obviously that's just a power rule. So let's just erase all this and just do that real quick. Obviously, if you're not saying this out loud, it's much faster, but since I'm saying it out loud, it's taking a little bit more time than I would usually take on these questions. So it is 2 pi integral of 0 to 3 divided by 2, and then it is 2x squared x dx. We know that's equivalent to saying 2 pi integral to 0 to 3 divided by 2, 3x cubed dx. Now, the power rule, we can move our 4 out, so it's equal to 4 pi integral of 0 to 3 divided by 2, x to 3 dx, right? Now, power rule is add something to the exponent and divide that same amount. How do you do it? Integral of x. Let's just put the n like this, and let me just erase all this part so I can have more space. I mean, maybe I shouldn't have done that. It won't matter. We can do that at 1 divided by n plus 1, x n plus 1, and that will give you pi over integrand. So it's gonna be a bracket over here, x to the 4 bracket 0 to 3 divided by 4. And you can see that because we divide that by 4 because n plus 1 equals 4 over here, right? So in that case, we have pi over 3 divided by 4, and this will be to the fourth power. And whatever that equals will be the case. Since I can get a calculator out, but I don't think this question needs a calculator, but I will grab it out just in case. Where's my calculator? Over here. Let me grab my calculator. So I just grabbed my calculator just in case, but we don't need that calculator. We could just say 3 times 3, which is 9, and times 3 again, which is 27. That's 3 threes, and then 3 again, which is 21, and 6, 8, 81. 81 pi already. And then we kind of already know it's gonna be D, but to be sure, oh, actually no, maybe not. Oh, yeah, probably not. 4 multiplied by 4 is 16, and multiplied by 4 is 24, 6, 4, 16, 1, 25, 2, 5, 6. Okay, all right. I think this is a case where you would actually want your calculator because obviously, uh, yeah, I don't really know what that is. Okay, that's wrong. There's no way that number is correct. Ah, here, I made a mistake. That's a 2. So this, I knew it was going to be D. Yeah, shit. Yeah, it's 2. So sorry about that. 2 multiplied by 2 is 4, multiplied by 2 is 8, multiplied by 2 is 16, 4 fours, and that is 16. So it is, in fact, D. Moving on. Okay, express this thing as a derivative of this. Oh, right. Oh, God. Let's see if I remember how to do this stuff. Um, hmm. I don't think I remember. Let's see. X squared y minus e2x equals sine of y. Let's see if I remember how to do this. It's probably going to be dealing with ln most likely. So Oh, maybe not. Maybe not. How would I actually solve this? Well, we need a derivative. Oh, maybe. Um, you could try doing a d dx on everything because that's the operator you can do and make a product rule here. Yeah, I think that's probably what you have to do. Okay, so it's been a long time since I did some kind of question like this, but I think I have it. So take a whole entire bracket here and take a d dx to see what we get. We get product rule over here, so that's a 2x y, right? I can already say that without 2xy probably, plus x squared dy dx over here, minus, okay, so e is basically 1 divided by 2 e 2x, right? Right, because what happens here is if it's e to the ax and you take a derivative of it, you're taking, oh wait, I did this wrong. You're right. No. Yeah, it's been a long time since I did a e to the ax, basically. So that is 2 to x, and this over here is cosine of y by dy dx by chain rule. Okay, so obviously this cannot be the answer. The C cannot be the answer because there's none of them. So over here, I might need more space. But no, I hope in the actual test there's a lot more space. But over here, you can see that we can move everything that's associated to x squared dy dx, right? By chain rule, and minus cosine y dy dx equals 2x y minus 2e 2x, hopefully. And I can already see that most likely the answer will be B. And I'm just going to bet on that because that's what happened. Why is not writing B? It's most likely B from what I can tell. I probably made an error somewhere because I don't see. Oh, here it's supposed to be negative and plus. That makes sense. And then because you shift it over there and you shift this over here. With that said, you can see what I mean. This is why you need to know your fundamentals. If you know your fundamentals, you can get everything out, even if you forgot a lot of how to do something. But dy dx equal negative 2xy plus 2e 2x, and you can see what I mean. Negative 2xy plus 2e 2x divided by x squared minus cosine y. There you go. So it has to be b in that sense. Now this is what we call a gradient, right? So let's figure out how to do this. Taking a gradient of this is basically saying take a derivative in a d dx, in this case it's 2d. And another way to write this, the preferred way in my opinion, is dA dxi. So index notation, I love it. You have no qualms about it. But obviously we're not here to talk about that. We're here to simplify this by taking a derivative in x direction. And also I will check all of my answers later on, but that's later. We know the y's disappear, so anything with y, if there is any y's here, is deleted. For x, and then power rule again, if it's a derivative of that, that is basically saying nx n minus 1. So as you can see, that's what I did, and then minus 3. Wait, it's plus 3. That's, I guess multiple choice has its values. That's wrong. Wait, is it just C then? Yeah, I mean, yeah, it is just C. But we can also check the y direction if you want, but I don't really feel like doing it, so I'm just gonna trust my one derivative and move on. Because I trust myself enough that I don't make a silly mistake too much. All right, we begin over here where we have our beautiful equation where we have the two-dimensional variables. We already got the equation over here in the previous thing, so we just had to plug so basically what's happening here is going for what is the maximum slope. So in what we call machine learning, there's something called gradient descent. And we do a negative gradient because the gradient always points to the highest maximum slope. So we are going to just plug into our gradient over here. And it should basically, so it was always get 1 comma negative 2, right? So on which one was it again? I said C. So 4x plus 3. So x equal 1. So that is 7. 7 is both of them. Uh, so it's one of these two, C or D. And then we begin over here where we um, come back over here and, oh, why is it not working? Okay, erase that. Okay, so C and D, 7. And then x, y equal negative 2. So negative 2 is over here. Negative 2 comma negative 2. Parentheses minus 1. 4 minus 1 equals 3. So in that case, we have this one to worry about, which is D. Not sure if that's correct. I will double check one more time. So it is 4 1 1 1 4 7. So it's either B or C, and then it is -2, right? So -2, -2, -4, 4, 4, -1 is 3. So it is B. Okay, great. Next one, what is the magnitude of the greatest slope? That is, what was it again? It's just the magnitude of whatever we found. So 7 squared plus, what was it again? Like 3 squared. So 949 plus, right, equals what? Um, 49 plus 9 equals 1815. And then square root of 58. Okay, grab your calculator on this one because you're not solving it by hand in estimation mode. 7.6, so D. Let me just clear the table now. Next one we have is basically figuring out the definition of a divergence. Right, the divergence, aka the scalar version of what a gradient should be. It's what I call it, but it's not really true. It's this, which in reality, if you went to index notation again, because index notation is how I know it, is can I d dx dot product of whatever function we have. So basically, what we have is basically d dx of each individual function. So it's going to be x z plus d dy e to the xy plus d to the dz. Let me get my water. What was this called again? That'll be 7 z cubed y parentheses. Yeah. So obviously these two are out because there's no z there. Because this term will just turn to z, right? Everyone knows that. So over here we have e to the x, so e to the x is a or b. So next one z, obviously 2z, and then 3z, so it's 21y, so it has to be b. So the answer is B. Really going quickly on this one. Writing. Okay, the curl of it's a cross product, so really it's a cross product of f. Another way to write that in index notation is basically ddj, xj, and then fk. So that's another way to write that, but in this case, we're not going to any weird place, so let's just write it normally. If I remember correctly, it's not that way. I'm definitely not going to be able to do it in my head, I think, probably not. So if this is over here, we do a cross over here, which makes you say that I would be wrong because you can see over here there's no ZZ over there. So let me just go erase that. And then I would be here this way. So no J, sorry, J would be wrong. So K has to be it, but K, is it a vector still? Probably is. Yeah, it is K. And EX, so it is D. Now the question is one of these two still a vector? Curl is still a vector. Note that in your brain. So it has to be D. Okay, the Laplacian of the scale function. So Laplacian at 0.3, comma 2. Laplacian is very interesting as it is our great uh ddx squared. It is the great scalar double. Y squared is what I call it because it energy loves it, kind of. Depends on how you look at it. So obviously we have double over here, y. So honestly, nothing happens with these two. So it's double derivative of 1/2 x3. So derivative of that gets you x to the square, right? And then derivative of that is, ooh, my top didn't work, equals 2x, hopefully. 2x and then 3, so it is 6. So that is C. Yeah. Double check that, but it should be correct. It should be. I'm not double checking that shit. Let's go to this one where we do a Parametric equation. Obviously, what you do is dx dt equals 4 t minus 1, and then dy dt equal 3 t squared minus 2, and then you just say dx dt divided by dy dt, even though that's not really proving it is harder, but just stating the fact that this is true is not. And unfortunately, I got something wrong. Oh, inverse because I flipped them. Sorry. This dy dt, read the question correctly. So it is this. It is D, like D. Let me just clear something up. Uh, there's many ways to do this. Integrate, blah, 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 blah. I just like to look at the graph because they provided me one. So nice of them to provide me a graph. Yeah. I'm just gonna over here, that's 2, right? 2, and that's 2, 2, which is 4, which is divided by 2, so it's 2, so the area here is 2. So erase that. Over here we have area of 6 minus 2, which is 4. So 4 multiplied by 2, which equals 8 divided by 2, which is 4. So 6 is 6. When you have the easy way to do it, do not do the hard way and integrate. What the? All right. For this one, just look at the handbook because well, the handbook, this is given, and this just tells you how to do everything. I could do the triangle substitution and do all that shenanigans. Or I could just look up this integrand that you're given by the testing people. Oh, by the way, I already know what the answer is. It's going to be arctan because this form is basically just arctan. But you know what? Actually, I know it because it looks like arctan. Maybe there's a different way for me to solve this. The constants don't matter, so that's annoying because I mean they're the solution. But this is a polynomial. So think about it this way: derivative, this is zero, and this will give you some kind of polynomial. So this cannot be the answer. This over here has 4, but has 8 plus 2x squared over here, which means this has to be a derivative of here, which means it has to be 4x, right? And there's no way that's happening, so that can't be it. Over here, if it's by chain rule, there must be an extra 2x outside from that, so it must be C. Ah, that's how they did it. You're not supposed to look at a table, you're supposed to look at the other solutions to figure out that one is bunk, which, there you go. That's how you do it. Should have realized that. Next. Ah, this one, approximately. So does that mean this is a hand or just calculator? Well, we'll figure it out if this is possible. So 1 divided by x is like this, and y equal 2 over here, and then 10. That's the integrand over there. Okay. And under the curve between those two. Okay, so you clearly want, is it this region over here is unclear? Or do you want the other region over here? It's pretty unclear. This is a unclear question that they made. I will have to assume it's this one because that's traditionally what they do. But bad question design, awful. Even I can see that this is an awful question. Well, if this is allowed to calculate, that's great. But because in this case, I'm gonna have to say x equal 1/2. So when it's a half this happens, 10 equal 1 over x. So x equal 1 divided by 10. So 1 divided by 10. So integrand is 1 divided by 10 to a half in this case. Okay, so and then it is 1 divided by x equal dx. Now, um, that is ln of x there's no way to do this without a calculator. There's no way. There's absolutely no way. Which is why I grabbed my calculator here and just gonna do it. Unless it's the other way around, which could be true. But this feels like a bad question in design to tell the truth. My calculus running, I got 1.6, so it is probably a bad design by choice. So I got B. Now I want to see if the other way has something to do with it, because if I were to do instead, this question is pretty badly phrased. Oh, here's a cool thing. They're both the same answer. Interesting. Huh. So the area under here, I learned something new today. Cool. The area under here and area under here is the same. So no matter what you would have done, you would have got to the right answer. It was just a little unclear. I don't like this question. I don't like it because either you do 1 divided by 2, 1 divided by 10 equal x, or you do the other way. Either way, unclear question. It's lucky that you chose a symmetric polynomial over here that gets your symmetric answer. Otherwise, you would have been totally confused in another way. So this was a bad question. Yeah, I don't know why this was a question entirely, actually. Really confused on their part. Um, uh, why is it not working? Okay, let me just move it here. There you go. Oh, bounds. Okay. Now, let me look at this equation over here. So that is x squared, so it's going to be like this. Minus 2, so it's going to be over here. And then minus x is going to be something like this, and plus 8 is going to be something like this. Okay, so let's figure out the two zeros. So 8 minus x squared equal negative 2 plus x squared, right? So first thing we do is move this over here, which gives me minus 2x squared equal minus 2 minus 8 minus 10 equal minus 2x squared. So x squared equal 5. So x equal plus or minus square root of 5. Okay, this definitely needs a calculator again. And the integrand is square root of 5, definitely, is what I'm thinking. So how would you even solve? I mean, there's many ways to solve it. There's a bound there. I would have first done an integral over here. So basically, you can get an integral of this area. Oh wait, and then minus with the other integral. So that would have been, yeah, that's right. So I need to make more space. And this is definitely a calculator question. There's no way that they don't. I don't know which textbook this is from, but there's no way that So this is on top, right? Well, how do you know it's on? Yeah, it's on top. Yeah, 5 minus this equals the area. Integral negative square root of 5 square root of 5 8 minus 2 plus x squared dx. If you're wondering, yes, my calculator has an integral function, but it just takes 5 hours for it to actually work. But I'm not doing that I mean, it makes it so much easier. It makes it so much simpler, sorry. Um, so square root, and this is a TIX 36 Pro, which is allowed by their testing site. So I am perfectly in my right. And with AI coming along, there's really no need for you to know some of these integrand ways. They're becoming, I mean, they're still powerful, but numerics are the true norm of nowadays. So you need to know how to do it, but in the end of the day, you can shortcut a little bit because of numerics and AI now. So let's see. And your calculator is basically doing numerics when you type this into your calculator. Um, 5 take a while. I'll speed run this later, but I mean I'm gonna make it 2 times later. Okay, it's taking a little bit, but you can see what I mean. You can just syntax error. I made a mistake with the syntax apparently. So minus is a negative. Did I do that right? Minus a negative square root of 2. Mi oh, I might have done this. Okay, that should have trick. If not, I'll do it one at a time. Okay, it's clearly saying syntax error, so I'm gonna do it one at a time. So second integral, clear. So second integrand over here, negative square root of 5, and then we're going to do second square root of 5. Or maybe this calculator doesn't allow me to do this, and I have to do it by hand. Either way, I will do it if it's a by hand design. Well, I'm not going to like it, but I will do it. So this over here is 28.32. So and this over here is negative. I think it's just too big, and it just overloaded the whole thing. Square, and then this portion is negative 1.49, which means if I minus this, and to get that, I get 29.8. There we go. See. Yeah, there we go. Not that bad. Okay. And the next, same thing. Uh, well, isn't that, wait, that's just, can I just without doing anything? I think it would be, well, it's definitely not 0. No, it is 0. Wait. You don't have to do anything. 0. There you go. A, right? It's A. You can also double check with your calculator, but I think it's just A. Oh, A. But how do I know so quickly? It's just because of how integration works. So um, So if you think about it, what's the area under a curve, right? And you might say that's how does this parentheses works? Area under the curve is this way, right? So it's like sine, so it goes 2 pi, right? So 2 pi is all of this. So that is just 0, null and void. But if you want to double check it, you can do this over here, and you can make sure that it's about 0. It does 0.344 because it's in degrees. Yes, it's in degrees. Let me just change that. How do you change this in degrees again? I always forget how to do that. Take some mode and then just change the radians and then quit and go back here. Here it is. 0. Sorry, I was in degrees. So make sure it's in radians and then you can get the right answer. Um, Over here is approximate radius. Oh, radius of curvature. I hope that that is in our guide over here because I'm not memorizing that. If it isn't, then sucks for me. I'm gonna have to memorize this. But no, here it is, radius of curvature. So this equation is necessary. I'm just gonna screenshot it because why not? Actually, maybe I shouldn't. Which version of it do I want? Which one did they put down? They know f of x, so f of x version is it rectangular? It is rectangular and it's not polar. So yes, it's the first one over here. Radius of curvature, this one. But this format over here. So if you look over here, we know that denote the x, y. So all we have to do is basically uh yeah. This is y in this case, the way they did it. I'm not sure why they didn't describe it that way, but basically what you do is take y prime, which is 2x plus 6, and then y double prime, which equals 2, and plug into this function of k, which is the radius of curvature. They didn't ask me to do much more. So 2 parentheses 1 plus and then which they give me a time of It's going to be 2x plus 6. I don't know why they gave me another one. I'm trying to think if there is. It's been a long time since I did this, but I think I got it. Let me just check if this is one of the answers. If it's not, then I messed up, which very well possible because I do make dumb mistakes. Let's be honest with ourselves. Um, and I always hate how this calculator doesn't work when you don't have parentheses on both sides. Always annoying. And then it's going to be 2 multiplied by 8, which is 16. 16 plus 6 squared. And then it's going to be square root of 3 divided by 2, which gives you 0.188888. Oh, this is a really small number. God damn. So you didn't really, you could have probably, if a smarter person could have just guessed this, I guess, because according to this, it's just a very small number. So we didn't have to really try hard. We could have just done that. Oh well. Maybe I should keep that in there just for fun. Nah, they can figure it out now. No, just yeah, because I am gonna upload this to somewhere to my friends and everything. So okay, next one. We're in 106. Peach. Oh my God, it's just Gore estimates that if he picks his crops now, he will attain. It's recording. 1,000 lungs of peaches. I have never heard of what's lungs, but all right, which he can sell for one. What the hell is lungs? What? Lugs? Lungs? Lugs! Ah, lugs. $1 per log. Okay. However, he estimates that his crop will increase by additional 60 per week. Okay, so weekly, yeah. Okay, per week. Okay. In addition, his spoilage rate of 10 logs per week. Um, so how, this question doesn't make any sense. So a peach is estimated that he'll go, he'll take 10,000 logs of peaches, which he can sell for $1. However, he estimates that his crops will increase by additional 60 logs of peaches for each week that he delays picking, but the price would, oh, I see what you're saying. So yeah, okay, yeah. Here's the thing. We could do a complicated way, but we can cheese this question. So let's just think about it for a second. So you can sell this for $1 per log. Let's just say that log is L. We can cheese this question really easily. We could just say this is let's do a variable A, okay? Because it's easier just to do a variable. So A times the cost, which is X, right? The cost is $1, and this cost equals the money you have, right? $1 per mug, right? So in that sense, what is that rate, right? In reality, it is one over here, $1 per it. But we see that it decreased in price per week. So let's just minus by week. So we know that 0.025 per week, right? Yeah. And this equals a function. But this A is also different. A equals 1,000 logs first, but each week you get plus 60, right? We get plus 60 per week. Now, with that said, you have estimated spoil wage of 10 logs per week. So this is a weird one because why would you even put that in? But you have a delay in that. So basically the full equation becomes 1,000 parentheses plus 50W 1 minus 0.025W equal fx. Now, here's the thing about multiple choice questions. Plug and chug, man! You could do the fancy math and do a derivative over here and get the maximum and take a second derivative here because it has a square here. Or, you see these numbers over here? Plug it in there. See which one's the maxed. Which one's easier? Your choice. I don't really know. Either one works. I mean, you have a calculator on you, right? It's your choice, so I can just see that through, multiply 20, parentheses here, parentheses 1, minus 0.025 multiplied by 2, parentheses equal, that is 1,000. So for this one, it is $1,045. And then you see when it comes down, like 5, you just multiply everything by 5. See what happens? Increase from that is 1,093. So this is not it. We just see when it goes down. Now 7. 1113, unless this equation is wrong, which I hope not. And then 10, oh, parentheses. Oh, this one might break it because of how shitty this thing is set up. 1 minus 0.025 multiplied by 10, multiplied by 10. Okay, it's D. According to what they gave me, it is D. And who debunked it? It would be D. Oh, wait, did I do this one? Oh, I did not. I'll double check this one, but this should be D. Yeah, you didn't really have to do much to do that. But could we have thought of this sooner, literally. Probably by looking at the rate because it's 50 and this is 0.05. I can see a mismatch over here. You can see the rate of each one, but I don't really care. That's how I would have done it. I wouldn't have done the double integral method of getting the limit, blah, 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 blah. I mean, you could do it if you want. Actually, you could totally have done it that way, but who cares? What's the derivative of this? Well, how I would do it is basically there's a few ways to do it. You can make this u squared, right? And then that is 2u du, right? And then equals to 2 sine um, omega t, and then we need du, which is du is basically equal to derivative of the inside, which is cosine, which tells you that's none of that. Cosine omega t omega, right? Because of how it is. So you figure out is the oh, so many d's. I might need to double check all these then. But there's a couple of ways you could have done an identity here too. Yeah, you could have definitely done an identity here. I don't know why that would be a bad thing. Yeah, you could have identity. It wouldn't really help you that much. I don't think. Could it have helped you? No. Best way to do it is u square, and then 2 du, u is omega c, and then just write cosine omega t omega, and then just leave it there. We wouldn't care too much. What is the slope of the curve when it crosses the x-axis? Okay, so it's a derivative problem. So I would have done 10x squared minus 3x minus 1. Okay, so I need to get, now I'll just do minus 1 plus or minus b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a because I'm lazy. I'm not going to do all the fancy stuff. So it's 3 plus or minus square root 9 minus 4ac. So negative plus 4e divided by 20. Let me double check. 3, 9, 10, negative. Yeah, I think that's right. So in that case, it's 3 divided by 20 plus or minus. This is 49, so square root 7 divided by 20. So it's either negative or positive. So it's either a half. We can do a half. So derivative of this is 20x. There's 20, and there's a negative like 4 divided by 20 here that you can look at, which is 1 divided by 5. Divided by 5. That makes kind of sense. We'll see if that's true. Uh, we'll do 20x. We're doing a derivative, which is dy dx, as you know, minus 3 over here. And we plug it in to see if we can get any of the answers. Seeing that there's no negative answers, this probably is wrong. And then we can do half, which is 10 minus 3, which equals 7. So the slope is 7. Okay. Okay. I may have made a mistake here now because of how many questions I have done, but we'll see. I think this one's the most suspicious, but we'll check later. Okay. If I made a mistake, yeah, I can figure it out later. What's the standard form of equation of a tangent line with the center origin? Okay, excuse me. Okay, well, I mean the question really shows you what the answer might be, but you could in theory just do x squared plus y squared equal 25 and just bracket this whole thing with d dx and just finish it off. Really not the big problem. 2x plus 2y dy dx, right? Equal 0. Yeah, yeah. And then you can do 2y dy dx equal minus 2x. Oh, I see what the problem is. X, y, right? So that's a famous example, famous thing, I think, which means that the solution is 3 divided by 4. So this is wrong, and it's negative 3 divided by 4. That's great. So we know the slope, and now we know the point. So we can just plug and chug and figure it out because we know the point, we know the point slope form. All right, with the 3 divided by 4x, we have this sort of parentheses with a point slope form. There's two forms. There's plus b like this, and then there's a point slope form where minus 4 is the norm. But no, where you have a point over here and you put that point into here. Very important fact, a long time ago, not anymore. I don't know if it's important anymore to know that. But you get y equal negative 3 divided by 4, and then you have x minus 9 divided by 4, which is a plus 4, so it's parentheses like that. So this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. We can actually just assume it's d at this point and move on. You can try to actually calculate that, but I don't see the point in trying to calculate that this is 20 divided by something like that. 16 actually, divided by 4, and then 16 divided by 9 is 25, so we got it right, plus, sorry. 16 plus 9 is 25, and then we're done. So we're done with that one. We can move on. Very much so. We can move on. I mean, it's not really our next question. Why am I still like this? Minimum maximum. Okay, this we need to use a second derivative rule. All right. And the way I know it is because I know in the ML class is basically a second derivative, and I believe it's a negative that's actually the maximum or the minimum. No, negative is a maximum, and the other way, so forth and so forth. So fx equal this f prime. So is 15x2 at this point, chain rule, 4x plus 1, right? Row 0. Yes, that's correct. And with 15x squared, let me just erase that. That's not right. It's parentheses x minus 4, right? Oh, I'm doing something wrong. This is so wrong. I'm just going to redo it. So that's our answer. So that equals 0. That's good for your critical points. And then this, if you know, is 16 minus 4, parentheses x. So one critical point is at 0. The other one is at x equal 4 divided by 15, looks like. 4 divided by 15, yeah. Um, so are those maximums or minimums? We can see by plugging it into our second derivative, f double prime of x equal, well, I mean, oh, well, actually, this question doesn't even need to look at that because this is answer D, because there is two maximum according to the question statement itself, so it is just D. And my guess is what happened, oh, no, min and max. Sorry, one of them is min, one of them max, but no, there should be only one min and one max then, and that's it. Yeah, I'm just being a fool. Sorry. I don't know what my brain was thinking when. Okay, whatever. This one's clearly just using ln, and ln is such a powerful power move that you need to know how to do this every time. In engineering was norm, but now it is no longer true. But we still teach everyone no way, right? Okay, so that's how you get it. And I'm pretty sure that's how you get it. Yes, that's how you get it. And then you take a dx in this over here, and you take a product rule of this. So one ln, if I think I already know the answer is going to be never. Sorry, I already know the answer is going to be C. Sorry, because product rule will give me this plus some weird function, which is going to be L, derivative of inside of xy, and then it's going to be something like another product over here, and then so on and so forth. But it's going to be this because that's the only one that works, and I don't really need to check more. Should I check more? Should I do it? I mean, it's a multiple choice question. You're not really supposed to do all of it, so I think we just leave it here. Or a further idea, I think we should probably not just write like C over here. Because, yes, I know it's C after all that, but let's just do it because it's not a test right now. And this equals 1 equal x ln xy. So what we have to do is d dx this whole bracket, and this turns to 0 basically. So now we have a product rule over here, which tells you that is ln of xy plus x of xy1, so it's y, plus x dy dx equals 0. So in this case, we could do uh, x deleted, so erase that, right? Why was there x? Yeah, there's x there because of that. Okay, yeah. And then we can do 1 plus x divided by y dy dx. And there's a plus ln xy. So we just shift that over to over here, negative ln xy. And then we can see over here there's going to be a minus 1, so delete all that. And then we get rid of this to put all over this thing to get y over x. And then you have the right answer with that. There you go. Simple as that. I figured out it was C because none of the other answers were good. You see, with the amount of question there is and the amount of time there is, you're gonna have to look at A, B, C, D and look at which of the answers doesn't make any sense at all. It's kind of the vibe I'm getting at this thing. This one is another chain rule. But from a viewpoint, we know it's 2x. I can kind of see, actually, I can't actually see on this one what the answer would be. So this one, you kind of have to do it. dy dx equal negative negative x. It's a product rule, so that's the derivative of that one. Sine 2x. Oh, actually, I could have easily guessed this one, actually, now thinking about it. And then it's going to be cosine, and then it's going to be 2 parentheses x, 2x. So if it's cosine and there's no 2x, then you can delete these two automatically because of that. And from that, the negative shows up here, but doesn't show up here. So looks like it would be A. Yeah, it has to be A. Yeah, I'm gonna double check all these later on, but alrighty. So over here we see a classic limit question. And here's a real trick about this. I made a mistake in this question where initially I that okay, let's plug in pi squared minus pi. Oh, there's pi over here. Okay, plus sine pi, and then negative sine. Okay, all right, pi. There's 0, 0 here. So at least you could. I thought for some reason I thought you could do this. That's wrong. You can't do that. Um, So what you have to do is think a little bit. You plugged and you got 0/0, right? What that means is that you have to now take a log of these two. And the log of these two, so what that means is that these two are considered independent of each other. You can't separate these. I mean, you can, but you would be getting limit x go to pi, x squared over sine x minus the limit of x limit pi x divided by sine x. And over here we see pi, we see a pi square over 0, which means we have to take a derivative of that too. We can split it up, but we don't have to because the hop works where we can just do f of x equal x squared minus pi x plus sine x. And then we can do g of x equal negative sine x. And we know from L'Hoppe that if you have something of f of x and g of x, we could take a derivative of that, and this in this case, whatever function there is, we could take a limit of x to a, and we can say f of prime x if it's a fraction and g of prime x. And then we can beautifully get an answer. So what that really means is that we could just say limit of x go to pi, parentheses, 2x minus pi plus cosine x divided by minus cosine uh, x, which now we can plug in pi, so it's 2 pi minus pi plus cosine of pi divided by minus cosine of pi, and this should give you a number. This gives me pi plus 1, and this gives me equal to 1. So this answer is C. And therefore, we have our answer. Why is it not giving me? Oh, there we go. Next one. Get the partial derivative of this in the y direction. Okay, so this goes away. In the y direction, this is something, and this is nothing. Okay, so that's 9x plus, what's the minus? I can't really read that. Okay, let me just, it's minus, okay. Minus 1 divided by ln of z, so we get a. You need to learn how to be, what's the right word in these questions? Well, in Korean it's called daechung, where you don't take a lot of things like you don't try to go like intensely for like the perfect thing. But in these ABCD questions, you can't go for like once you figure out the answer, you just have to click it. You can't just look for like the right thing. You just have to admit, like for this one, if I were able to figure out the answer, I would just pick that ABCD choice and move on because there's over three. I forgot how many there were, but there's like a lot of questions. You only need to get 70% to pass the FE exam, which is actually really hard because there's so many ABCD questions in a finite amount of time. Which is why I'm saying if you're sure about the answer, you have to just move on. But anyways, and that's what my brain is saying about this. I'm not sure if it's true. I never took it yet. Yeah. So over here we have 1 divided by x dx plus integral 4 divided by x squared dx. We know this is x squared divided by 2 because the power rule we talked about 100 times. They tried to trick you with B. Don't do that one. C doesn't seem to be the right answer either. So it's down to B and C and D. We know this is ln of x, so that would have also gotten rid of this one because we need the absolute value for that one. So everything dives into this. And then in reality, you can rewrite this as 4x negative 2. So by the power rule, so integral xn equal 1 divided by n plus 1 and then xn plus 1. You can kind of get where I'm going at. You need a plus 1 here. So what that really gives you is, because I'm only showing you because of minus here. I don't think we've ever done a minus 1. It's going to be minus, right? 4 divided by x, basically, because it's plus 1 and then multiplied by the minus sign. So we get D. And that wasn't too hard, right? It wasn't evil. Yeah. Which of the following is not the correct derivative? So this is correct. This is x3, right? Sorry, I should probably write this more carefully. So it is d dx 1 minus x cubed. That looks correct. Yeah. And then minus, wait. Yeah, the minus makes it correct. Over here we have minus x negative 1. I take a derivative of that. That is, I think, also on the money because minus. Oh, wait, I'm so stupid. This obviously D. I mean, like no duh. D is fucked up here because how can you have a cosine? That's a no duh moment. I don't know why it took me so long for me to figure that out. Okay, another interesting ln question. So over here, you have to take ln of y equal ln of 2x x, which we can now do ln of y equal x ln of 2x. Now, this is a really powerful equation because, why do you keep on doing this? Because in the future, a long time ago, there was a phase in math where they had to ln everything, I think, because that's what we still do in some fields. Oh, okay, so we have this, right? We now have to take a derivative of that, the x on this whole bracket. And then here's the thing about this. I believe because we have it this way, we could just bracket like this and then eat everything. X. Yeah. So there's two ways to do it. I don't really care which way we do it. We just have to do it. Uh, so let's just do that real quick. So it was x, I believe, right? My pen's not working again. Ln of 2x, right, equals ln of y, which we can call zeta or phi, whatever, it doesn't really matter, or some weird function s. And we just take a dx on this whole thing. So we have x dot product, so ln of 2x stays there. And we have another one, we have plus, um, plus what? Uh, 2x of 2, right? And with x on top, wow, that's equals to ln of 2x plus 1. So that makes sense. That kind of deletes these two options really because there's no way that they're going to show up unless it's a multiplication of 2 somewhere. And then there's ln over here. We can just do y dy dx, right? Because this is this equal ln of 2x plus 1, right? Like this. And what we can do is say dy dx equal y parentheses ln 2x plus 1 parentheses parentheses. And this y we already know here, so we can do 2x square x over here like this. So it's obviously d. So this is a clever question, but very doable. Next question is just a partial derivative of this function. So then we have, we'll see if we can delete anything here, delete this. So we have 2x y to the cube that's kept. There's 2y to the cubes, as you can see. So what's the other one? Oh, this one, okay. So there's going to be plus y to the 4. So that's 2x y to the square plus y equals y3. So this is wrong. You can see, but now this has to be 1 because there's a no 2y over here, which means that most probably the other ones are doing it differently. So let's just see how they did it. Um, this one has a 3 over here. Is there another 3 that we can surmise? No, right? 2x, y3, so it has to be D. Just by looking at the first two letters. You should, I mean, for practice, we can do the other one. There's a cosine this one, and then this is 1 minus sine. Yeah, that's basically it. I mean, we don't need to go more. We already done that integral. But if you want to do it, here it is. D dx equals of sine x equal cosine of x. That's one of them. And the other one, d dx of cosine squared x, and that is equal to what? U squared, which is cosine. So it's 2u, which is over here. Excuse me. 2u du, and du is equal to sine x negative. So over here they just flipped it, but that's still the same answer, so it must be this. Okay, over here, let's plug in 2 just to see if it's plug in 2 and it gets that 0 over 0, so we had to take a derivative, so it's not really possible to do that. But we can do 2x over here, and then we can do 1 if we do that. We should probably explain this whole thing again. This is La Hop again, so f of x equals x squared minus 4, g of x equals x minus 2. As you can see, we're taking a limit of x goes to 2, of x squared minus 4, of x minus 2. And then we can just do, when we do a derivative of these, so f phi x and then g phi of x with a limit. I mean, but it's going to be plug and chug, so who cares? Um, wait, so it's going to be 2x and then it's going to be 1. And as you can see, it's 2, 4, so it's going to be 4. Interesting. Had two, those functions turned to 4. Interesting. I did not expect that at all. I mean, I could easily tell what they would be, but I could, I didn't, I always get shocked. I mean, I don't get shocked, actually. I was expecting that. So, yeah, we could double check it. I mean, it's a solution, I know. So we did that one. Yes. I'm just double checking. It's 4. Yeah. See. Yeah. Sometimes I wish I had time in the. I might have time to real time to do double checking, but probably never. What's the maximum of the following function interval of x less than 0? So, okay, we can do this. This is taking a double derivative and finding critical points, and the critical points we can find by looking at it in the negative direction. So, uh, we'll go with y prime equals to 6x2 plus 12. So it's actually 24x minus 30 equals 0. Because we need to figure out the zeros here. And 6x to, okay, we're not really going to find anything, so let's just simplify it by dividing by 6, don't we? Minus 5, 1, 5, and negative is on here, so x minus 1 and x plus 5 is our answer, so x equal 1 and negative 5. Since 1 is out, it's going to be negative 5, and since we know that there's only one critical point, we can just guess that it's going to be negative 5. We don't have to go to a second derivative. But if we were to get a second derivative, we can get a second derivative. It'll be 12x squared, right? Plus 24, and negative 5 would be 25 over here, which is a positive. And if we know f double prime of x is positive and 0, then we found a max, is what it's saying, which is not true. It should be, here it is. Here's my mistake. It should be less than. I was thinking that doesn't make sense. It should be less than. It should be the opposite way. So there we go. Less than. That is not true. It should be less than. Yeah, I was thinking that doesn't make sense. Okay, so now we have to plug into here, which I can already tell is going to be a big number, but I don't, I think this is a calculated question because there's no way I can do this by hand. Oh, I erased it. It was -5, right? Um, it's -5. Okay. So -5. So we could plug this into 5. So 5 cubed equals 25, 125. X squared equals 25. Why am I doing it by hand? X equals 5. So we can plug that to here and figure it out. There's no reason for you to not grab a calculator, but maybe there's a value to that, like the old ways. Because I'm not really in press for time right now because I'm not actually taking the test. So 25 multiplied by 12. 10, 1, 4, 5 for 25, 300 minus 300. Oh shit. Um, minus 5 times that is 15 plus 10 is a plus 20. Okay, it's 25 multiplied. So what does this equal? 100, right? And what's going on? 150, 100, 400, 410. That doesn't make sense. Did I make a mistake? Probably did. This is 5 cubed negative, so this is negative. Sorry. And let me double check if 125 multiplied by 2 is correct. 10, 1, 4, 5 for 2. Okay, it's negative. So negative positive 50 over here. Then it becomes 100, 100 and what? 200 over here and 210. Yes. Okay. All right. Let me double check with my calculator. But I got. I'm not making that deal. So calm down. 3, and this one is 5 plus 12 multiplied by 5 multiplied by 5 already is 350. Okay, something's definitely wrong with my calculator. Oh, wait. This is a plus because of the minus. Oh, I'm so bad at this shit. Sometimes I'm bad. Yeah, that makes sense. Racer, get that. Minus 25, 50, 200, and 210. So it's D. Oh, I was about to say something doesn't add up. D is the right answer. Thank God my brain hacked up. Now let's put the calculator in and then let's see what we get. Should get. Well, my calculator is like saying fuck me to me because it's not, oh, it's 25 over here. I forgot the 25. 25 plus 30 multiplied by 5 plus 10 equals 210. All right. Okay. Thank God. So for this one, we have to look at the cases of it not anything that's not heads. The is no, so it has to have heads one time, which means if it's tails, so we just have to look at the probability of it going tails each time. So it's tails, and then tails again, and then tails again, and then just to multiply. So 1/2 multiply 1/2 multiply 1/2 multiply 1/2 7 times, and then you do 1 minus that because you want the reverse of that, which is everything else, which you grab your calculator here and do, I believe, 0.5, and then you do a cube over here to the 7th power, and then you do -1. And I know it's going to give you a negative version, but you can just reverse it. So 0.992, basically. That one is D. Okay. Uh, okay, so it's all right. Next one is a probability of performing a two-stage rocket will perform a 0.7. The probability of the first rocket is 0.99. And what's the probability of the second dependent? Okay, so this is what's happening. So A equals 0.97 divided by 0.99. 0.97 divided by 0.99. Over here, you see that's 0.9777, which is rounded up also 0.978. So it is D because if you don't know, it's 0.979, which is round up to 8. Okay. All right. This is a variance thing. There's a formula for it. Do I remember the formula? No. I'm actually gonna have to look up something in the handbook or maybe my own personal stash. I hope it's in here. If it's not, then oh well, I'm gonna have to look up through my textbook, basically. Not really a big deal. Yeah, I don't know if they gave, is there statistic version? I don't know. I don't know what they give me statistics. I hope they have something. Half the time probably is going to be you trying to figure out the handbook correctly. So we have probability a little bit over here, but it doesn't really show me anything. Okay, probability over here. Am I really? Oh, there's a Hessian matrix here. Oh, that's wonderful. Newtonian method. Probability here. So over here we have, this is the variance of it, and this is standard deviation of it. So I was wrong, as you can see. And this is why you just copy from here. The variance of the population. Wait, is this the mean they're looking for? That's nothing. Oh, is it just no, 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 I'm definitely not flipping here. This is not correct. What is it looking for? Sample various. Um, no, that's not right. Sample various, here it is. I was right. Okay. I was like, no, I know my math. I know that's not right. Um, I know when something's fishy. Xi minus X bar squared. And sample steady doesn't really matter. For now, we're just doing this portion over here. And let's just solve it because the product doesn't matter. Okay, yeah. So we just so there's 5, n equals 5. Um, this is a question I would probably skip because it takes a long time. All the probability ones are a pain in the ass, and I would recommend everyone just to skip it temporarily because you're gonna have to skip. So we have to first get the average of this, which is 1 over n summation of xi and equals x bar basically. So yeah, 0.5 plus 0.8 plus 0.75 plus 0.52 plus 0.6 divided by 5. So that equals 0.634. I already could guess a little bit what the sample range is from it. It's probably one of these two, actually, but they're too close for me to tell. Now, I'm actually going to do it this way, where I'm going to do this part first, to divide it by 1 divided by 4, because it sounds easier. But this is definitely a skip question where you just don't do it properly until like you have to. Um, because why would you do this question first? Probability is one of the things that's just time consuming sometimes. So do the ones that you can do faster and come back here, maybe not even come back here and just guess on this question. No, that's a bad thing to say to people. But actually, maybe I won't. Maybe I will actually do it because technically you're supposed to have enough time to do all this, which I call bananas on. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm a fool. Okay. But where was I? 0.6 minus 0.634 square. What did I get? Of that? Oh, maybe I'm the fool. Oh, I'm wrong. It is B instead. My mistake. I was completely wrong about my intuition. My intuition was completely stupid on this one. So my intuition was completely bananas. Usually my intuition is good, but that was like bad. T-test based on the T distribution is useful for. Oh, this one. If the function is symmetric about 0, why would you ever want to do what? Testing the distribution outcome to see if they come from okay, comparing values about the mean, determine difference between sample or significant. Okay, I think it's D. Alrighty, here we have another question. When it's operating properly, the chemical plant has a daily production rate that is normal distribution with a mean of okay. So basically, what's happening is there's 800 over here and standard deviation of 21 tons a day during the analysis period. The output of the mean with 50 random sampling for 50. The mean output is 871. Okay, over here, and then 95%. Oh, that makes us okay. All right, that is alarming. Very tight window there. Determines proper. Okay. That implies that isn't is it working properly? The 5%? Can you honestly say that? Because right now it feels like these two questions are the same, but it must be the wording that matters. Yeah, okay, this is actually a badly worded question. Um, I don't agree with this question. I'm gonna pause on this one and make the background red because this doesn't feel good. So I'm gonna go back to it. I'm gonna find the textbook that I got this from, and then we're gonna find out what is going on. That doesn't sound right. All right. For the probability density function shown below, what is the probability of the random variable x being less than 1/3? Oh, okay. Okay. So let me here, x is 1 divided by 3. Probably this has to equal 1. So let me just check that real quick. If that is 1. If it's not 1, then we have a big problem here, and this question is ill-posed too. So over here is 1 divided by 2. Okay. Over here is 1 divided by 2, and this is 2, right? And this is just a that's just solves the question. Basically it is a triangle that is 1. Basically the area on the left side is 1/2 and the right side is 1/2. So it's all right. Now we have to make sure we get the area over here basically. So in that case we can make a slope. I'm kind of thinking like what's the easiest way to do this question? Um and I think It's probably two similar triangles, maybe. Because if this is one third, and this is one half, and this is two, then the ratio of this must be the same, right? So 2 divided by x and what's 2? 1/2 divided by 1 divided by 3 must be the same ratio, right? Am I correct about this? I'll double check with another way. There's like three different ways to solve this thing. Um, but let me just inverse this a little bit so we can. There's a few ways to get this question, and the way you should get it is basically look at this. There's multiple ways. One way is the integral way, where we look at this and get a slope, and then put this here as 0 to 1 divided by 3, and you get an answer. Yeah. The other way, the way I think is probably easier way, is look at this and say 1 divided by 2. No, sorry. 2 and 1 divided by 2, and look over here and say 1 divided by 3. Realize it's in a triangle, and we can do x divided by 2, and then over here 1 divided by 2 over 1 divided by 3, and this equals 3 divided by 2. Uh, wait, did I do that right? Yeah, I think I did. No, I did not. I reversed it again. My apologies. That equals, sorry, x is 1 divided by 3, and then this is 1 divided by 2, which equals 2 divided by 3, and then x equal 4 divided by 3. And so what that tells you is we can do 1 divided by 3 multiply 4 divided by 3, which equals 4 divided by 9. And since the triangle, because this is area of a triangle, a square right now, divided by 2, which is 2 divided by 9, which is b. Now, here's a little trick. The other way is the calculus method, and which is the way I'm going to show you next, which is basically look at this slope over here, and the slope is 2 this way. Delta y delta x equals 2 divided by half, which equals 4. So it's going to be y equal 4x. We integrate 4x by dx from 0 to 1 divided by 3, and then we get the same thing, 0.22. So B is correct. Next question. What's the mean of this measurement? There's 100 random samples. Okay. Um, isn't it just 91.170 divided by 100? Uh, oh, measurement. So it's divided by 75. Sorry. No? 100. Okay, let me just divide that, see what I get. So it's just this then. It's just D. There's no question about this question.